kid called Quest.
Welcome to Rochester, New York. Now, what should I call you? Is it Ricky Ross or Freeway Rick? What name would you prefer before we get this?
It's according to who it is. You know, my mama named me Ricky Ross. My friends call me Rick. People who are kind of like friends call me Freeway Rick. You know, who heard the stories.
Right.
From the neighborhood who really, you know, they don't all the way know me, so they'd be like, Freeway Rick. But my friends call me Rick. I prefer Rick, you know.
Prefer Rick. That's how we gonna roll for the day.
Yeah,
Rick.
you know, when moms named me Ricky Ross, I took the IE off of it when I was real young and put the Y on there, you know, make it short. I'm looking for shortcuts.
That's right. Well, welcome to Rochester, New York. So you're here for the Savage Fight boxing event on Saturday. How did that whole thing come about with you being here in Rochester?
Well, you know, I've been messing around with boxing now for about, I don't know, really, maybe if you really go all the way back, maybe 30, 40 years, you know. I can remember the first time I went to a fight and I met Don King at a fight, and when I was sitting in prison, I thought about what would have happened had I told Don King that day that I had $3 million and I was willing to invest it in the boxing. You know, where would I have been had I done that? And when I was in prison, I said, you know what, boxing was one of the things that I'm definitely going to look into. So when I got out of prison, you know, Floyd Mayweather picked me up, which I thought I thought I got in at the top of the food chain. But that wasn't a genuine friendship. It was more like him poking at the rapper. So I went from there to a couple other high-profile boxers. Who all I done messed with? I done messed with some of everybody. J. Rock Williams from Philly, Schoolboy Step, Austin Trout. I'm really one of the founders of Kid Austin. I found him when he was 2-0, you know, but I wasn't able to get the stick. So what I had to do was I had to tighten up my contracts and get all my stuff together. So now I just signed this year. I feel like was my best recruiting year ever in boxing. I recruited 4 national champs. One that I'm really high on right now is out of New York. Raleigh born, 5-time national champ, I believe it is. Was number 2 last year in his weight class, and he was supposed to be on the card. He came out to LA a couple weeks ago for training, went over to Freddie Roach's gym and was sparring with the European national champ at 147. The European champ at 147, and pulled something in his arm, and we had to pull him off the card. He still wanted to fight, but I thought it would be a bad idea for him to fight hurt. I would rather for him, because he's only just turned 18 years old, and I think the kid is going to be a superstar. When we was at Freddie Roach's gym, I heard people saying things like he reminded them of Muhammad Ali, the way he dances around the ring. The kid is a real student of the game, and I'm looking for some big things from him. A little disappointed that he can't be at this fight, but I'd already promised Savage Promotion that if they put him on the card, that I would come out and promote this fight the same way that I used to do when I first found Kid Austin, how we would build his name up. And so that's what I'm doing out here, working and also pushing my book.
And I appreciate you, because I've been looking at a lot of interviews. Back in the day before you, when you still locked up, I was looking at the whole story, the whole Iraq. I had no idea of your connection with boxing at this point, so I'm learning something for the first time. I didn't know that.
Well, you know, with boxing, I mean, it used to be more of a black sport. You know, it isn't that way anymore. You know, it's more Hispanic driven right now. But when I look back at it and I saw so many black fighters make so much money and then they wind up, broke, I felt that I needed to step in and assist them with their situation. A lot of people say, "Oh man, you must be a big fan of boxing." I'm not really a fan of boxing. But I can remember when I went to Farrakhan's house and we had dinner at his house, and he told me, he said that anything that blacks are in, that I should put my hand in it and guide them and give them my lessons, and that's what I'm trying to do here with boxing and all other businesses that I'm in right now today.
Well, welcome to Rochester, New York. This is a city, you know what I mean? It's your first time here. I'm gonna run some things off about Rochester. Frederick Douglass, Underground Railroad, Susan B. Anthony, the Mafia, 64 riots, Rodney King riots, high crime, violence, hustlers, gangs, shower posse, Ausar, Charles Murray, Willie Monroe, and the USC heavyweight champ John Jones. So I don't know.
Oh, John Jones from here?
From Rochester.
Oh man, shout out to John Jones. I just saw him fight for the first time the other night. I was at an event, man, and because I don't really watch I don't watch any TV at all,
Right.
I only watch boxing matches that my guys are in. I don't know, I'm just funny, like, man, you don't support me, I don't support you,
Right.
You don't like me, I don't like you, and ain't no hard feelings. So I really don't watch TV because, most of the entertainers don't support what I do. And I spend my time with the people who got my back.
Did you watch the Tyson-Paul fight? That was kind of crazy, but
I did. Well, Tyson is my guy.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Tyson.
So what's your thoughts about what you saw? This is strictly entertainment, or how did you feel about that?
I felt that Jake had a lot of respect for Mike, and he wanted to see Mike make some money, and I was glad to see that. I was glad that when Mike got tired at the end of the fight, that Jake didn't really, try to punish him, which I felt like he could have. Even when Mike walked in the ring, I saw the old man, because I got old man legs too, so I kind of know what they feel like and what they look like. I can remember when I was even 40, how I could move around, and I just don't move the way, even though your mind might say, move your legs, don't do it, So I saw the kind of old man legs that Mike had, and I'm just glad to see that everybody made out. I think the fight was a win-win. The promoters sold out the arena. They broke Netflix. Mike got paid, Jake got paid, all the fans, some was disappointed, some wanted Mike to knock Jake out and some wanted Jake to knock Mike out, but both of them walked out healthy. They put their heads together and they thunked each other, and I thought that was a great way to do it, because really with this boxing is entertainment. At the end of the day, this is supposed to be entertainment, and nobody's really supposed to get hurt.
Right, so I want to take a side step real quick about the pay part. I had read from some fighter that say if the car is you get $15 million, that you really don't get all that money. They give you half up, then they count the pay-per-view, then on the back end pay you. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know Netflix paid them that money. This company got bread. I think they got all that money.
Yeah, I think Mike and Jake got paid on that card. A lot of times, I read Don King's book when I was in jail, and he talked about that when they do those purses, they want the biggest number possible because they want the people to go, wow, he got $50 million. So a lot of times you're right, they inflate the number to make where people are more wowed by the situation.
How did South Central, growing up there, shape how you is? Because in Rochester, we got different type of. Some things are probably similar.
Well, what they say, if they see you, give them 5 or 6 of your friends, and they can tell who you are. So, you are what you around the most. You talk. I talk about that in my book, how even though I never gangbang and I never really consciously looked at myself as a gangbanger, but I picked up their language, I picked up their clothes, like I wouldn't wear red clothes because I grew up in a Crip neighborhood. So I'm not gonna wear red. And not because I thought nobody would do nothing to me for wearing red, but it became something that's ingrained inside us, that we feel that I mean, even right now, you know, I'm dealing with people, right, and they feel like these things that they have are theirs, you know, and like, I'm not letting this go, you know, like, if somebody that I'm talking to right now, in my opinion, is an alcoholic. But they don't look at themselves as an alcoholic. They look at it as oh, this is something that I just like to do. So, you know, we have these things that we think that we just like to do, or these habits that we form from being in certain areas that are not the norm, you know, per se. You know, like, you know, we might believe that it's normal to carry a gun and you're not a police officer, or you know, but in our neighborhoods, everybody feel like they got to carry a gun, you know. And I don't know. It's just things that you pick up in those neighborhoods. You know, like, everybody got to sell dope. You know, when I, because I didn't grow up I mean, I lived in South Central, but I didn't really grow up there. From 13 to 18, I played tennis. So I would go to sleep in South Central, but at 6 o'clock in the morning, I was on a bus going to a whole different area where I played tennis. Like, I had never, even though I lived there, I had never recognized a lowrider until after my tennis career was over. At 18, when I was no longer playing tennis, was the first time I ever saw a lowrider, and I fell in love with lowriding. You know, like, I got to get me one of those. So what I'm saying is that there's things that go on in the community that in other communities, they don't have it. They don't have those same issues. And that's how South Central shaped me.
Okay, so go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want to elaborate on that a little bit.
Go ahead.
So my family's from South Central too. I just was there for my aunt's funeral, so I can't think of where they live at in South Central. But I know they do some of the recording for snowfall around here. Now I see my aunt's house is valued at close to $1 million. And they said that the neighborhood is changing. Like, I seen like a lot of Mexicans, I seen white people, and I seen some of the gangs. Gentrification. So what do you feel about that?
Well, I think that we as blacks dropped the ball, because we had owned all that property, and that is some of the most valuable property in the country. And it's gone now. You know, that property is so expensive now that once you move out of that neighborhood, you won't be able to move back. Even though it's still the ghetto, you know, like, they still selling dope over there. There's still a few gangbangers. They moving most of them out because they aunties, and, you know, most of them don't own no property no way. So their aunties and their moms and all them, once they move out and lose their houses or whatever is gonna happen, because the taxes, you know, as they build new places, the taxes go up. And that makes it hard for people to keep those properties. But gentrification is real. I mean, I stay in South Central right now today, and, you know, I see white people every now and then walking a dog down the street, and they feel safe, and they really are, because in our neighborhood, they don't really attack white people. You know, they attack black people.
That's a fact.
You know,
even here in Rochester.
Yeah, they do stuff to each other more so than they do the foreigners. You know, I remember, because where I'm at now is a blood neighborhood, and I remember when I first moved over, they came over and was like, man, you can't stay over here. And, you know, I had to point out to them, well, you know, the Koreans on the liquor store right there, you guys ain't said nothing to them. They've been here for years, and you allow them to do that, but because I look like you gonna tell me that I can't stay here, even though, you know, you say I'm affiliated with a gang, but I've never been a gang member. You know, I've never did nothing to none of your homies. Anyway, you know, those some of the things that go on in South Central that you have to deal with.
Wow. Now, I really didn't want to talk about the drug thing, but I do have a couple. I'm ready to just keep it moving. But I did want to say, when I say U.S. government and U.S. drugs, is there a connection? I know that, but do you still think that's the case? Like, the thing you went through, I don't know how deep you know it went at the time, but now that we can look back at history and see what was really happening, is that still...
Well, the CIA said that their army sold drugs, and that they knew that their army was selling drugs.
Right.
So, I mean, that kind of...
So the army's still selling drugs, you think?
Oh, I don't know if they're doing it today. I don't know if they're doing it today, you know. I mean, that's you know, that's a big question.
Yeah.
I know that they admitted that in the 80s...
They did.
That, not that the CIA actually did, but that their military because the guy that I got my drugs from, he wasn't a CIA agent. He was what they call an operative, meaning that he was from a foreign country. He didn't have a green card. He couldn't legally work for the CIA, but you could get money from the CIA. You know, an operative can get money. Like, say for instance, how they doing like with Ukraine right now. You know, if you're a Ukrainian, you don't work for the CIA, but the CIA are giving you money to fight your war.
Right.
So that was the same situation with the guy that I was getting my drugs from. What happened is they lost the war and they had to flee the country. So when they came over here, they just started selling drugs.
Right, because my teacher in high school turned us on to that whole situation. They found a U.S. plane full of cocaine. They was taking guns down there for cocaine and moving it. I'm like, what? I was surprised my teacher even exposed us to that. So I kind of heard a little bit of that in high school. I never knew how big it stretched into it.
Well, it went all the way to the White House. Ronald Reagan said that he would always be a Contra. And the Contra was the CIA's army. So, you know, if the president of the United States said he's always one of them, then, you know, it goes downhill.
So let's move on from the drug thing. What about this thing called hip hop? Do you listen to hip hop? And if you do, who are some of the artists that...
A little. You know, I've been messing with hip hop a long time, you know, from almost from the beginning, you know. I think the first time I heard a hip hop song was about 79, right before I started selling drugs, you know, and it was Rapper's Delight. And I could relate to that song, you know, to the T, you know, because I was going through the things that they were talking about. I started dipping in it, you know, after I started selling drugs. Well, before I started selling drugs, I started dipping into hip hop. You know, when I started low riding before I started selling drugs, and we were starting to throw parties and doing the DJ and, you know, the whole little thing like everybody try to do. But then I started selling drugs and the money started coming so fast that I kind of forgot about hip hop. Even though I had a couple artists that I was taking care of, you know, grooming to put out, but that got derailed as well.
Wow. So many artists see you as a cultural icon. How do you feel about the influence that you have on the culture?
I'm kind of surprised, you know, that I had so much influence on the culture, but I kind of studied, you know, how my influence grew so large, so I do understand, you know, where it comes from, but you know, I'm flattered by it.
The whole world know about this rapper from Miami, Ricky Rose, who took your name and your likeness, and you had to go to court, and that ruling ruled in his favor.
Yeah.
How do you feel today about that situation?
I thought the course was... Well, you know, I was also suing Universal Music Group and Warner Brothers as well. So it wasn't just him that I was suing. I was suing some big corporations, and it was a lot of money. And I felt that the courts felt, you know, giving me $50 million of Universal's money was unfair to Universal, you know, probably felt that I hadn't earned it. And then they looked at it too, you know, you got your name from selling drugs anyway, you know. That's how your name became big, because you sold drugs. I mean, she would introduce us in court, the drug dealer and the rapper. So, you know, she was kind of biased, but I don't think that she could see herself, you know, giving me $50 million of Universal's money.
Universal. I'm doing the whole thing with the whole Drake battle. I researched them. They put them in $44 billion right now. That's what Universal. This kind of money they playing with. So for them, they can use their lawyers to find a way to.
Oh, they have 15 lawyers.
Yeah,
they came to court with 15 lawyers, and the cold thing, I was down at Universal almost every day, you know, because I knew that was the way into the record business, was through Universal. So, you know, I was hanging out down there with Vincent Herbert, Troy, the whole Lady Gaga team, you know, because you know, I already know how to get to the top. I can get to the top almost anything that I want to go to. I can figure it out how to get to the top. So I'd already worked my way into Universal before the lawsuit. They didn't know I was suing them, though. I kept it on the law. And then the day that they found out I was suing them, they walked me out the building and told me don't come back.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, they said you got to get out of here, but I couldn't see them, man. Just taking my stuff, because I look at my name as intellectual property.
It is.
It was a name that no matter how you say I build it up, I built it up, with my blood, sweat, and tears. I went to prison for it. A lot of the notoriety came from me going to prison. Newspapers writing articles. Oh, he's going to get a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Drug kingpin is gone forever. So those things help to build my property up to where it is today. And then for somebody just to come in, and never do a day in prison or never, sell a crumb of cocaine and then, benefit off all that, I think was kind of whack, But, I used to steal cars. So, I done stole people's cars and took their tires off. So, and I say, that's part of the game. You got caught slipping. You didn't have your stuff right, and he got you. So, kudos to him. Hopefully he continues to have his success. But at the end of the day, I know what made me big, and I know what's going to make me big again. It's my work ethic, it's my determination, and the way, people like me. They just like me, man. I mean, I don't sing, I don't dance, and I pop up today at a smoke shop. D take me over to this smoke shop, and they just come and start buying my book. Like, wow, and I'm just flattered that I get that kind of love, and I'm more worried about my success than anybody else's, and how many people I can take with me when I go.
So we go from music, and then we go to film or television. The series Snowfall, I did a little research on that, and John Singleton, that I heard that you was talking with him about doing the movie, and then all of a sudden this thing called Snowfall falls out.
Yeah.
I want to know, did you have a chance to talk to John before he passed? Did you ever have a chance to
I did.
I wanted to hear what happened with that situation?
Man, we was at Red Grant called me one day, and he was like, "Man, I'm having a birthday party, man. I want you to come through." So I rolled up on the party, and we in the partying, and this little chick called me, and she's like, "I'm at the front door, but I can't get in." So I said, "All right, I'm gonna come down and get you." So I'm coming out, and then when I got ready to roll out, I had about 3 or 4 of my guys with me. They want to go to the party with the stars, some ghetto dudes. So we rolled out, just going down the stairs to get her, and then I ran into John. And he was coming up the steps, and he looked like he saw a ghost, I was like, "Damn, John." And he was like, "Man, I need to talk to you." And I was like, "You ain't got my number?" My number ain't changed. My number ain't changed. The day they gave me my phone, when I got on the bus leaving the pen, my number been the same ever since. So I went over to the side, and we talked, and he told me he had some money for me, and he wanted to bring me on the set, and the whole night, everything he was supposed to say, because he didn't know, how I felt if I was going to do that ghetto thing that everybody do,
right.
Have a couple guys that whoop him right there on the spot. Yeah. But I ain't with the black on black crime, because I know what that what comes with that. So we talked. He told me he had some money for me, gave me his new number, and we parted ways. And I think right after that, COVID must have hit, and I didn't see him for a while, and then I heard he had died. A couple years after that. But that was the last time I saw him, last time we talked, or last time I heard anything about me and him coming together on the show.
Wow. Yeah, rest in peace.
One of the other producers did contact me about a year after he passed and asked me if I was interested, and I told him I wasn't.
So if there was a director that you would trust with your story? Who are you?
We already got a director. I got a director right now.
Let's hit with some.
I got Mike. I got Mike Ho. We hired Mike Ho. We finished his contract like 3 months ago, so he's officially signed to the project now, and we at the Childish Gambino right now.
Oh, okay.
See those pictures you got to get.
Wow, that's what's up.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see. As a filmmaker, I'm like, yo,
Childish Gambino, it's over.
Yeah.
Man, that thing gonna do. It's gonna make everybody regret that they didn't fuck with me.
And you were involved. You kind of curate.
I'm the orchestrator.
That's what
I'm the one to pick. I want this piano player. I want that organ. I want the trombone. So they giving me that kind of leverage, even though I don't really use the powers that they give me, because when my movie could have been out. Don't get it twisted now. My movie could have been. They wanted to do a $50 million movie a week after I got out of prison. I sit down with Michael Linton from Sony Pictures, president of Sony Pictures. I sit down with the president of William Morris Endeavor, ICM, and ICA. I sit down with all the presidents of all 4 of those companies. They all offer me close to the same amount of money, and I told every one of them, no thank you. Respectfully, no thank you. None of them wanted me to be involved with the project.
That's why I asked you that question, because most of the time Hollywood, they want to take your story and say kick it.
Right, they don't want you.
The film, you be pissed off when you watch it in the theater.
Yeah. So I didn't want that, because I talked to Frank Lucas, and he told me how disappointed he was in the way his movie came out, and I just feel attached to this piece, like this is my history that you're talking about. This is my kids' history. My kids are gonna have to live with whatever you tell, and then I don't want our young kids to get it twisted, because so much of our stories get twisted, and then when these kids get a hold to it, they get the wrong message, and I want them to actually see how I did it. Because it's very important that you see the process, because so often we want the results but not the process, and I think that the process, to me, the process is more important than even the reward.
And that's a fact. And like the Tupac film and the Biggie films, the filmmaker, I thought they were trash. So a lot of times they take people likeness and they don't do a good job. So I'm happy to hear that you have some say-so and involved in that process. And
I got some bad dudes too. I got Mike as the director. We got Reginald Hutland as the producer. Yeah. He's overseeing the whole project. I got Gino Taylor and Kim Conwell as a writer and producer. We done had like 8 writers on this script, man. They done reject the script. I done had script. I like this one. They be like, nah, we gonna do it a little better. So right now we have the script is done. We're in pre-production right now.
That's what's up. With Reginald, I don't know him personally, but I know his works. That's at least you got an OG who's been doing it.
Oh, he probably the coldest coldest black filmmaker probably in Hollywood.
Sure.
Not businessman necessarily, but when it comes down to making good film, Reggie do a great job.
For sure. So, we're about to close up pretty soon. Young people who aspire to achieve success, what lessons or what inspiration can you give our young generation?
Well, one of the main things is that you got to continue to grow, and when I was in prison, when I went to prison, I couldn't read or write. I read over 300 books before I left, but one of the main things I found out from one of my favorite books is that you must keep an open mind. You can never grab a hold of something and believe that it's absolutely true. Until you investigate it. And the book asked me something like, could you believe that everything that you know could be wrong? And I was able to say that, yes, I could believe that everything I know could be wrong, because a lot of the things that I thought was right, like they should tell us milk was good for us.
Right.
Milk does a body good.
So food chain, like a pyramid, no.
And milk is horrible for you. You know what I'm saying? Eggs. Eat an egg every day, and then people don't even know what an egg is. An egg is a chicken's abortion. And like, you eating the chickens, period, you know? Like, you cook that shit and eat it, you know what I'm saying? So when I thought about that kind of stuff, and I'm like, they've been feeding me chicken waste, you know what I'm saying? Like, what else have they been feeding me? You know, and that's how I became a vegan. You know, one of my partners gave me a book, and the book asked me, do you live to eat or eat to live? And, you know, I decided I wanted to eat to live and not live to eat. So just those type of things, just let me know. And that also helped me in business now. You know, with business, you know, I'm crazy with it. You know, now I know, okay, you had drugs then, but you could have said, maybe not drugs right now. Let me give myself a little more time to try something else. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, with my ambition and my determination and I you know, my mama would tell you that, oh, that boy love money. But I don't love money, but I love to make money. You know, it's a difference. It's a difference in loving to make money and loving money. See, some people, they just love the money, but they don't love the effort that it takes to make the money. Me, I'm totally the opposite. I just like to make it. I don't care where it go. I just want to be where it's being made at. So with that type of determination, I would have definitely been tied in to some of the big events. Just like right now, you know, I'm tied into some really big events. You know, I just signed up for this new company, man. Crazy, finna be crazy, and y'all better listen to me. You better listen right now, because I just got in about 2 weeks ago. One of the people I brought in got her first check today. We are selling electricity, and you can become a certified electricity expert, and it's only 5 questions on the test. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can fail the test, but and they're going to tell you which ones you missed. So you go study them 2 answers that you missed, and then you can become a certified electricity seller, where you could go to people and say, hey, let me see your light bill. Oh, you know, you can go to this other company and get your light bill cheaper than what you're getting it for now, and save 25% on your light bill. Well, now, when you do that there, you're going to get a certain amount when they switch, and you're going to get a certain amount every time they pay their bill. So it's opportunities out there like those, but if you don't have an open mind and you're not willing to sit down and listen to logic, you're going to miss the opportunity.
And that's what's up. You got a lot of jewels in there, so I appreciate you. And I know you got books. You got one of the books behind you. You got the Freeway Ricky Untold Autobiography and Riding with Wick. 21 Keys to Success. Tell us more about the books that you have. We got one right behind you.
Well, you know, when I was in prison, all the young boys used to come up to me. I had a life sentence. Some of them was getting out in 2 years, year and a half, 5 years, 10 years. So we considered them short. So they would come to me and say, man, I sold dope, but I couldn't make no money, man. What was I doing wrong? Analyze my game. So, you know, I got tired of just keep analyzing and telling them, you know, the stuff that they was doing wrong. I said, man, just write a book and just tell them to read the book. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I knew too that I may not ever see the streets. When I was in prison, I was a realist, you know, like.
So it's over with.
Not necessarily that it was over with, but it was close to being over with. It might be over with.
Life, you thinking like, yeah, you know what I mean? Because they can keep hitting you.
But you know, you keep that little gram for hope. You know that I might be able to get out of here. Maybe one day they leave the door open. Or, you know, when the guards slip and leave their keys on the table. Or, you know, anything might happen. But you knew that it was tough. Mm-hmm. You know, I knew that it was tough. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to do something for the young brothers and sisters on the street. Like, if they can learn the dope business, because trust me, selling dope is one of the hardest businesses in the world. But we make it look easy. That's why when you go to court, everybody mad at you because they think you was making easy money. No, that shit is terribly hard. You got to carry a gun. You wake up every morning, you think, oh, this might be the day I go to jail. I might have to kill somebody today, or somebody might kill me today. When you living with those 3 things over your head every single day of your life, those are some tough situations. So if you can live with those and then do all of the things that it take to run a drug empire, you could be a genius. you could be a genius. And you know, I was sitting in prison and I was looking at like most business people only risk their money, but we risked it all. The money, our lives, our family lives. Because, you know, I don't know people who people went in and killed a whole family.
Right.
You know, and they said, why you kill them all? They was all there. So I knew that selling drugs put my whole family at risk. And when you're willing to take those kind of risks, and you practice those in any other business, you can't be stopped.
So tell our viewers, where can they find your books? I went to your website. It's the place you wanted to buy from the website?
Yeah. They can go to freewayrickyross.com and buy. They can get this one right now. 21 Keys is out, man. I can't keep that book. The book is selling like crazy. You know, that's my first 6 months out of prison. You know, I read 300 books while I was in prison.
Wow.
And it was 3 books that I recommend everybody read. So Cody Crutcher, who was my co-author of that book, he wrote with me to these meetings I was telling you about when I was going to Sony and Universal and all these companies, and he was taking notes from all of it, and he said that he saw me using these principles that I learned out of these books that I read in prison. So he wrote about, you know, how I used those principles against the people that I was dealing with.
Okay. So from the website. So what's next for Rick Ross? Rick. Any upcoming projects? Any initiatives that you're excited about?
Well, you know the movie. The movie is hopefully we'll be actually shooting. We're gonna be casting around the country. So if you want to be in the movie, we're gonna be casting about 3 or 4 different states. I don't know which ones yet. I know I want to do Atlanta. I want to do Houston. I want to do Chicago. And I don't know where else we're going to do, but we're going to go around and cast for that. The electric is definitely something that I'm really, really passionate about doing that. You know, I own a dispensary as well in L.A. I'm a dispensary owner. I got a marijuana brand. The boxing, you know, I feel like I'm probably finna take over boxing. Me and my man D, we you know, Savage Production. That's why I'm down here right now. We got a big fight this weekend coming up. We finna tear boxing up. You know, I found Kid Austin, who they talking about fighting Shakur Stevenson. This was a kid that everybody told me wasn't gonna be nothing, you know, and now he, you know, Tank called his name out, Shakur Stevenson called his name out, he's in magazines, he's on TV, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, so I got that, the kid, Raleigh Bourne, Shy, Ashley, 2 national champs, Jacobs. I got about 5 kids that I'm really passionate about in the boxing, which is gonna open the doors up for me to do more. I plan on launching my own app for TV. You know, I'm working on that as well. What else I got going on? Coffee. I'm gonna launch my own coffee brand. I got a rap brand coming out. I got the T-shirts and I sell cars. I'm all over the place, man. Diesel trucks. I got a couple diesel trucks. I mean, I'm just a serial entrepreneur, I guess. You know, I'm just sick with it.
All right. Are you on social media? Do you have social media?
I do. Freeway Rick is my social media. Go on there. Definitely, if you're interested in getting in any of these businesses, go on there. I'm gonna be having posts, especially about the electric company. I'm gonna be posting in the next couple of weeks about a Zoom call that we're gonna be having with the guy that brought me in. Who was a young boy out of Chicago. He done made millions doing it.
Right.
Making about 150, 200,000 a month right now. He'll be on there presenting. So definitely tune in and pay attention to that. But I guess that's about it. I still do my motivational speaking too. You know, I go around and speak. Was hoping I would have got to go to juvenile hall here. I love going out to juvenile hall talking to the kids.
You got a place called Industry, Hillside. I don't know. But anyway, we got a couple places.
Yeah, I love to do that stuff. I love to go out and talk to the kids. Love to go to the high schools, even though it's a little tough sometimes. We ain't letting no drug dealers in here.
Right.
Yeah, so that was just some of the things that I'm doing, man. But, you know, the most important thing is that I'm having fun.
Well, I appreciate you coming to the 16 Bar to Rochester, to the boxing event. We need some more positivity in the city. I'm sure my brother told you about this place. So we need this kind of inspiration, especially a brother your caliber who went all through you went through, to come back to cities to spread information.
Yeah, we need information.
You know, and inspiration. So I appreciate you.
What up, y'all? It's your man Freeway Ricky Ross, and you watching 16 Bar.